Hey guys, welcome to episode 8 of the weekly update, the series where I talk about my experiences with pickleball paddles that I've hit throughout the week. Now unfortunately, this was another shortened week because I am headed to Austin, Texas soon, so I didn't get too much of a chance to play that much pickleball this week, but I am meeting up with Brian Lim from Building Pickleball, and potentially I'll be able to meet up with some other content creators based out of Austin, Texas as well, and we'll be getting a few games in. So the next week's episode will be a lot more exciting as I'll be able to talk about my experiences playing with these people and just to go over the Austin, Texas scene in general, as I've heard it's really big and I'm really looking forward to playing there. All right, starting off, let's take a look at the newest paddle from SpinDNA. So for those of you unfamiliar with this brand, I believe it's like a one-man operation, and this guy basically came out with a Gen 2 paddle with a Kevlar surface last year, and it was a solid paddle. Like, it was in that $100 price range. It was a hybrid Gen 2. Nothing special about it, but it was overall solid and really good at that $100 price point. Now with this new paddle, which I believe is still called the SpinDNA, I'm not unsure on that, but I know these changed the surface layers, so now it's Kevlar on the front, and then the middle layer is carbon fiber, and then the bottom layer is fiberglass. So we've seen something similar to this, having like that bottom fiberglass layer in paddles like the Bread and Butter Invader and the Chorus Shapeshifter. Out of the box with the two games I hit with this, and the dinking I've done in the Dink Master, it feels stiffer than I expected. Like, I don't feel that change in the surface layers. I don't know if it's because the Kevlar being applied, or that Kevlar top layer is stiffer compared to the carbon fiber used in the Shapeshifter or the polyester / titanium used in the Invader. But I will say that at the same time, when I first hit the Invader, it also felt kind of stiff, and it did take maybe a day or two for me to feel like that face soften up a bit and then feel the change in the surface layers. So that could be something that happens with the SpinDNA paddle. So maybe the next few times I hit this, I will have a different opinion. But for now, the one interesting thing is I believe the price is $60, and even $60 for a thermoform paddle in general is a really good deal. But if it does manage to soften up and have like a similar feel to the Invader or the Shapeshifter, I think this could be like a really solid paddle to consider. But yeah, stay tuned for more on this SpinDNA paddle. Next up, let's talk about the hybrid shaped Pro 1 paddle. I got to try the 16mm version, but it's basically just Engage's Pro 1 paddle in the hybrid shape. And it just has the same feel of the original elongated one. So for those of you not familiar with the Pursuit Pro 1 paddles, compared to the original Pursuit Pros, they're a bit lighter. So the swing weights and twist weights are, have dropped down. So it's more maneuverable, and you can customize it more themselves. And honestly, like, one downside that kept people from picking up the original Pursuit Pros and even the original Pursuits was that they're very head heavy and slow to swing. And the Pursuit Pro 1s changed that, so they have like a slightly different core too, and I think probably just like slightly less internal weighting, so you can kind of weight it up on your own to see where you want to put the lead tape or tungsten or whatever. And they just also had slightly softer feel too. And basically the hybrid version is just the hybrid version of the Pro 1 paddle. So you've got less reach, slightly more stability compared to the Pro 1, mainly because the shape is a bit shorter, a bit faster, but that's basically it. Like, it has less power than the Pro 1, and the Pro 1, the elongated Pro 1 already had less power than the Pursuit Pro, so this kind of falls a bit into that all court leaning category. And out of the box, just like the original Pro 1s, these are also very light. So for reference, I want to say that the 16mm version I was hitting had a swing weight of 109, and I know the 13mm version, so the non-60 version, that one had a swing weight of 104, and both the twist weights were under 6 as well. So I did have to weigh this up quite a bit. And yeah, like, it's just an all-court paddle, and if you liked Engage, if you like the feel of the Pursuit Pros or the Pursuit Pro 1s, I think you'll like this in that hybrid shape. I think it's a really good entry-level option for people that want to try out the Pursuit Pros but don't want to have either don't like the standard shape or don't like the elongated shape and just want a hybrid. So it's nice to see that some of these bigger companies are now coming out with these hybrid shapes, as I think they're going to appeal to a lot more people. But overall, there's nothing groundbreaking about these, the hybrid shape paddle of the Pro One. It's what you expect. It's the Pro One and the hybrid shape. Also have the wide body, but didn't get a chance to hit this, but I will try to hit it after I'm back from Austin. All right, moving on, let's talk about the Unmarked paddle from Marked Pickleball. This is basically a Gen 2 thermoform paddle. It uses a CFC surface, so carbon fiber, fiberglass, and then carbon fiber. So that's something similar to what we've seen in the 11624 paddles, and more recently the Core Super Quartz. And as for the cell diameter, it uses a wider 10mm cell core. But as for the core thickness, it's 16 millimeters, and then right now it only comes in an elongated shape, so 16.5 by 7.5. In terms of how it feels like compared to other CFC paddles, it's softer feeling compared to the 11624 Huarache X Control Plus and the Core Super Quartz. But compared to the other Mark paddles, it's a step up above in firepower. So the current Mark 1, Mark 1X, Mark 2, like that lineup is noticeably like really soft in comparison to other Gen 2s. And now with this CFC surface, they've introduced a paddle that's got a little bit more firepower, a little bit more juice. But it's nothing too crazy. Like we've seen CFC surfaces before, and it at its core is just a Gen 2 thermoform paddle with some slight changes. So nothing too crazy. It's not a bad paddle. I still think it's a solid elongated paddle, and I think it's a step in the right direction for them to add a little bit more firepower into the lineup. But again, nothing too revolutionary, just a solid Gen 2 paddle from them. Next, let's take a look at the Roore Coronado paddle. So I had actually heard about Roore before they reached out to me, because I knew them as a brand that had a really affordable hybrid shaped titanium surface paddle. And in terms of how this plays, from my initial impression, it feels a lot like the J2 Ti, but just in that different hybrid shape. So the Ti is a bit more bottom heavy. This has that shape that's more similar to the 6-0 double black diamond. So I think it's basically like a titanium surface version of the 6-0 double black diamond. But anyways, I'm actually going to be hitting this one more because I plan on doing a hybrid titanium roundup style video comparing a few of the options in the market. So I've got this one, the J2 Ti, the Bread and Butter Invader, J2 Ti Plus, and then there's actually one paddle coming out from Neonic that I think it comes out around May. Like some ambassadors already have it, but it's not fully USAP approved yet. But they have the Neonic Flow Swift Ti is what I believe it's called. But look forward to that. I'll be hitting this one more, and then I'll just be doing a comparison with all the other ones I just mentioned. All right, so the last paddle we're going to talk about is going to be the Thrive Smoke. So this is one I decided to have some fun with. I decided to hit this one blind. So they did send a sheet detailing the specs, but I decided not to read that and just kind of go in, played a few games with this without knowing what's inside the core or any of the dimensions, hit the Dink Master and then played some games with it. And I would say I don't think it feels anything too special to me. I think it feels really similar to a Gen 2. I think it's a bit stiffer feeling, but I know the core is slightly thinner at 14.5 millimeters. And yeah, like if anything, it's maybe like slightly more powerful than the average Gen 2. It's definitely more poppy, but I wouldn't say this is a power paddle, and I wouldn't say it has like the feel of a Gen 3. But obviously, this is only initial impressions. We'll see like if my opinions change the more I hit with it. But yeah, we'll find out after Austin. Fortunately, didn't get too much time with this. I really wish I could, but I will provide more of an update in a future episode. Anyways, that's it for today's episode of the Weekly Update. Now, one more thing I wanted to share is that the channel has finally broken 3,000 subscribers. I really do appreciate everyone's support, and as a thank you, I will be giving away 3 paddles. So to start off, I'll be giving away the Sword and Shield J2 KC from the Honolulu Pickleball Company, the Course Fire SX, which unfortunately was delisted, but I still thought it would be a fun paddle to give away. And finally, this paddle from Crew Grid. Basically, to enter, just like this video, subscribe to this channel if you haven't. Comment down below which paddle release you are the most excited for me to cover, and then fill out the Google form. And 1 week from today, when I'm finally back from Austin, Texas, I will pick out the 3 winners. Anyways, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching.